Hello everyone, in this video I'll be going over the bash command ls and the different ways of using ls. So if I run ls by itself, it prints to standard out the contents of the directory that I'm currently in. Now I can pass in a different directory name, so let's pass in bin, and it will display the contents in that directory. When I pass in a directory name by itself, ls will look for the directory in the current directory that I'm in. To make it look for any directory in any folder, you have to put in an absolute path. What I mean by this is the path that starts from the home folder and traces to the desired directory. So if I do /, this means I'm starting at my home folder. I input desktop. It displays the contents of my home directory. Now notice that I didn't have to change my directory to my home directory and then pass in desktop. I just passed it an absolute path from wherever I was, and it still displayed all the items in that directory. The next thing I want to show you is ls-a. Notice how when I press ls-a, these new items show up. These items are all prepended with a dot. We would refer to these items as hidden items. That means that if I were to run regular ls, they would not be shown. The reason this is crucial to know is because I'm in my Git repo right now. And if I wanted to configure my Git repo, I would have to go into this folder, the .git folder. However, if I ran regular ls, I would not see that, and if I didn't know about ls-a and the name of the .git folder, then I would not have any way to configure my repo to my choosing. So because I run ls-a, I could see that a .git folder exists, so I can cd into it and get all the things that I need to configure my Git repo. The next thing I want to show you is ls-l. Now if I run ls-l, notice I get all this information for the items in my current directory. This information is on a single line for each item, and it is separated into a series of columns. Let's go over the first few columns. This column right here displays if the item is a directory or symbolic link. If it's a directory, it'll display a D, like applications. If it's a symbolic link, it'll display L. Now notice for symbolic links, it not only shows the name of the item, but it also shows an arrow and then this name of another item. This arrow signifies that this is symbolically linked from the next item, /library, /documentation, /user information.localized. The next column displays the read permissions for the main user of the computer. Since there's the R here, that means I'm able to read this directory. I have read permissions for that directory. The next column displays a W, which is the write permissions for the main user. Since a W is shown up here, that means I have write permissions to the applications. I can modify the applications directly. The next column displays an X, which is the executable permissions for the main user. Like before, since this X is here, that means I have executable permissions for this directory. Now, if I didn't have read or write or executable permissions for this directory, then 3 dashes would be shown. The next 3 columns display the read, write, and executable permissions for the group that the user is currently in. Now, whatever group that I'm in, all the other users in this group also have read, write, and executable permissions for the applications folder. Now notice this is slightly different for the library folder. The group that I'm in does not have write permissions for this item, but I do, since I'm the main user. The next 3 columns display the read, write, and executable permissions for any user that is logged into the computer. So anyone that's there that is using the terminal, that is not in any special group or is the main user, has these permissions for this item. The highlighted column right here displays the owner of the item, and the column to the right of it displays the group owner of the item. This middle highlighted column displays in bytes the size of the item. The second to last column displays the time that the item was last modified, and then the last column displays the name of the item. The last thing I want to show you is ls-r, the -r flag for ls. So if I press enter, notice that it's really big. This is because when I input -r, it displays all the contents in the current folder that I'm in, then goes into all the folders in my current directory, displays all the contents in that directory, and then goes into all the other directories in that directory and displays all those items, and then so on and so forth, till it gets to a point where it there are no more directories to go into, then it displays all those things and recurses back up and goes on to the next folder. So since I started at my root folder, I pretty much went into every single folder and printed out every single item that is on my computer. Now you can combine all of these, like say I wanted to see the information for all the hidden files as well as the regular files. So I combined the -L and -A flags to do that. Now I can just, it doesn't matter what order or how you input these, so I could put ls-l-a. It will still do the same thing. I could do ls-la, or I can do ls-a-l. It doesn't matter. I can even put lar. Any of those work. You can also combine this with the directory or absolute path. The thing you have to be careful about is to put the flags before you input the directory name. Otherwise, like so, if I did ls applications, then pass in the flag, it thinks that -LA is a file or directory, when we know it's not, but it assumes that because it's after a directory name, that this is also a directory. So, in order to get ls-l-a to work on the applications folder, I would have to use ls-la before I input the name of the directory, and then it does what we want. So practice with these. These are really helpful to find files that are very hidden, find files anywhere on your computer, and it's really helpful for when you need to find code that you're missing. Good luck to everyone. Thank you for watching.